recorded, and we are currently on Facebook Live. And this presentation will be then posted on ElderWorks YouTube's channel. Before we begin, let me explain a little bit about ElderWorks for those of you that are joining and may not know what we do. ElderWorks is a non-for-profit 501c3 charity organization, whose mission is to provide older adults, seniors and their families with information, referrals, and guidance. We call it aging counseling, so that they can live their best life, whether it's in home or in a community if they need that. But our main focus is to educate so individuals can make the best decisions. One of these things is educational sessions such as today. And as we go through today's presentation, if you have questions, please put them in the chat, or if you need to, raise your hand. We will try and get those questions answered throughout the presentation. Michael and Judy have consented to have those asked throughout the presentation. After the webinar today, there will be a quick survey that pops up, and we would appreciate any information you can provide and feedback, because we're always looking to improve. I guess I should have introduced myself. My name is Dina, and I'm our social services specialist with ElderWorks, and I'm also our grant writer and fundraiser. So I wear a couple of different hats, and today I get to be your moderator. So my life is enhanced by joining all of you today. I am going to turn the show over to Judy and Michael. Take it away, guys.
Okay, let me share screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Right. So we're going to be talking about free computer applications and programs. Some are only Windows 10 based, a limited number of them, but most of them have Apple versions or are accessible from either a Mac or a Windows-based computer. And as Deanna said, stop us anytime with your questions. Judy helps monitor either the chat, or if you raise your hand, if you're not aware, if you go to reactions down at the bottom of your screen, you could actually raise hand instead of putting your question in the chat. So we're Michael and Judy, or Judy and Michael. We call ourselves yin and yang. We complement each other. We've been doing presentations like this together for seniors for about 2.5 years. As I said before, we started a senior group in Buffalo Grove, Illinois in 2017, and it's still going 4.5 years later. We migrated to Zoom with COVID in April of 2020 and started teaching tricks and shortcuts and applications and doing programs for other organizations in addition to our senior group starting in 2020. And then earlier this year, we started teaching a Q&A type program for a subsidiary of ARP called Senior Planet. And we do that once a week, and that's more of a Q&A kind of thing where we open up the format for questions about what we call wacky, which is Windows, Android, computers, and internet. So, and if I can't answer it, Judy can, and if neither of us can answer it, sometimes somebody in the audience can, or one of us will do the research work, or sometimes we have to come back in a week or so with the results. But it's a lot of fun. We really like teaching seniors. We use slides because Judy and I are seniors ourselves, and we've been teaching adults and peers for decades, literally. We also teach via the internet, and we know that we have a different pace than what in learning than when we were teenagers. We also need visual reinforcement, oftentimes for it to sink in. And I don't know about you, but many times I got to go back and start all over again. So what we have done is we print these slides as a PDF for your use. So you can watch and listen now, take fewer notes, and have a reference to go back on later if you need to. So if you want a copy of that, please put your name and email address into the chat, and we'll get you out a copy in the next day or so. Okay. We make one guarantee.
Hey, Michael,
yes.
I'll make that even simpler. Anybody that attends today, we'll just email that out to them directly. If you send that to Emily, we'll get that out. Then there's less emails going out.
Oh, okay.
Great. Great.
Yeah,
thanks.
we'll take care of that.
Thanks.
You may be familiar with some of these programs that we're going to be talking about today, but we guarantee that you haven't heard about all of them. Okay. Here are some examples of commonly used free programs on the internet. I'm not going to go through this list, but these are what we call open source programs that are made available through a licensing agreement for anybody to use. And part of that definition of open source, for your information, is it's something that doesn't have any restrictions from sharing this with other people. Now they can, if they want to, charge fees for a professional version, or they can request donations. But those donations can only be requested if they want to adhere to the taxing laws if they're a non-for-profit. So if you see somebody looking for a donation that is not a NFP non-for-profit, it's really illegal to post for donations. Now, the one word of caution, if anybody is going to intend on using any of this for commercial purposes, you better check on site for the license and adhere to that license agreement. There is, however, also on the internet what's called a fair usage doctrine, and that limits copyright material for purposes such as criticism, parody, news, research, and scholarship, and teaching, which is what we do here. So, and these are just the outlines about what fair usage entails. Okay. The first thing we want to talk about is Google Drive, and that is something that's free when you sign up for a Gmail account, and has all kinds of programs and applications. We invite you to explore them and check them out because some of them are really fantastic. And Judy's favorite is Calendar, and I'll let her explain to you what she does with Calendar.
Okay. I was using the AOL calendar and it was working fine, except it kept crashing. And every time it crashed, I had to then input all of the information. And this was a real pain. So I looked all over for different calendars and settled on the Google Calendar. And as a brief overview, there's a lot to the calendar, so this will be brief. You can list your events on the calendar, of course, and even put in your Zoom links on the day that they're happening. So you can put your details right on that day and everything is self-contained. And because it's cloud-based, You never have to put it in again. Once you put it there, it is there. You can sync the calendar with any of your other devices, your phone or your iPad, and you would always have your calendar near you. It's very easy to change or add appointments, and you can have color coded, so you know what the event is just by looking at the color of on the calendar. You can list reoccurring events as they are happening, like daily or weekly, every other week, twice a month, or custom to whatever you want. And the calendar can take that. So you can even put birthdays. So every year, the birthday will come up. You can have directions to where you're going because it's tied in with Google Maps. So on the day, wherever you're going, if you're going to in person, you can find your directions and Google Maps will help you get there. So this is just a brief overview. And if you want to go into depth, we've been more than happy to help you with that. Google Calendars is a very, very fun and functional calendar. And if you ever need help, let us know.
Thanks, Jude.
Thank
Okay,
you.
another set of great tools on Google Drive is Google Docs. And if any of you are using word processors or Word or 365, Google Docs, and you're paying for it, remember everything we're talking about here is free. Google Docs is a productivity suite that has 4 separate applications built into it. There's Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Forms. Docs is a word processor. The reason I love Docs is, as you can see from the top of the screen, at the top of the screen, you get all of these templates. So sometimes you don't have to invent something, it's already there and you can take advantage of it. Google Sheets is a calculation like Excel. And again, you're going to have the ability to use predetermined forms if you wish, or develop your own. The nice thing about these programs is you can download these and they are compatible with your normal word processors. So even if you're developing something online.
Excuse me, Michael.
Yes.
Your slides are not advancing. You're still on free.
I'm not advancing it yet.
Oh, so you're still okay. Okay.
I'm still on Sheets.
Okay.
Okay, this is an example of the spreadsheet.
No, we're saying free
Michael?
What?
distribution.
What
The
is going
slide up there is free distribution, open source, part of definition.
My slides are not advancing for you?
Correct.
I'm going to stop sharing and go back. Hold it. Let me, where were the slides when?
The first one, free distribution. 1.
Fair usage, are you talking about?
Yes.
Oh, right. It's reloading. Give me a sec because it looks almost like it crashed.
Oh, no. Huh.
No, I have a backup. Give me some.
Of
Don't worry,
course.
I have a backup. I'm going to have to go to the backup though. Plan.
Well, in the meantime, can we take, John
Question.
is saying that the calendar sounds very much like Outlook. And I said to him that I found Outlook to be confusing. So, John, what do you think of it?
Well, I may have had a different version. I had it when I was with the University of Illinois. So, and I got to take it with me when I retired. So you might be right. Maybe if you just use regular Outlook, it's not the same.
Well, I guess it depends on what you get used to too.
Probably what we use becomes normal.
That is true. Very true.
This one looks like it's working, guys. All right. So you said commonly used open source fair usage.
Free distribution.
No, we went to, did you see Google Calendar?
No, that was only the first one.
Okay. Sorry about that. I've never had that happen.
Oh, it happens to me all the time. So
Let's try it again. Okay, can you see the Google Calendar on my?
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
aren't you glad I have a backup?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did we go to Google Docs?
No, we did not.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
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 Oh, okay. Don't
Yes.
scare me like that. I don't have a backup to the backup. Okay, so this is a spreadsheet that I actually did for an organization that I volunteered for a presentation that Judy and I did a while back called 1968. Those were the days, and it was people were able to actually keep score as to whether they got the trivia questions that we were asking during the program right online, or if they wanted to download the program, they'd have to do it manually. But by using Google Docs, it'll automatically calculate every time you put a check mark in there what your score is. This presentation program called Slides is comparable to PowerPoint. And my slide presentation was actually made, sometimes I make it in Google Docs and sometimes I make it in another free program that I'm going to be talking about. This is a form program where you can make forms to do various things. And again, you have all of these templates that are available to you. This is something that you can also get an email for when somebody completes the form, and it can also autofill a Google Sheets form so that you have a running total of people who've responded to this and what they're saying in response to their form. Now, Judy uses this form for her citizenship classes. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? You're muted, Jude.
That darn mute. I designed this for my class, so it'll be according to whatever the chapter was that week. They each week they get a new quiz, and when they fill this quiz out, it is sent. The response is sent back to me, and with a tally, so it shows the number, what the question is, how many people got it right, how many people got it wrong, and it actually gives them the correct answer when they do this little quiz. It's a great way to use the form and to make sure that they know what's going on. A great tool for learning.
Okay, all right. Now, if you don't like cloud-based suites or cloud-based programs, I've been using LibreOffice for years. It is a productivity suite that gives you a lot more features. And again, it is completely free unless you want to make a donation. And there are Windows versions, Linux versions, and Mac versions available with it. Again, like most productivity suites, it has a word processor called Writer. It's got a slide presentation, and that's how I made these slides. It's got a spreadsheet. It's got a draw program. And the really nice aspect about the draw program is you could use it to sort and discard pages on a PDF file if that PDF file has multiple pages on it. Okay. Any questions about word processors or suites or anything? Anybody got their hand up, Jude, or
No,
anything in the
no.
chat? All right. One of the most really frequent things that we get asked about on the other platforms that we help seniors with is everybody has got a load of photos, especially with the advent of smartphones. We've got photos in digital form, thank God, rather than sorting through those photos in our photo albums and all the extra ones, which I've been trying to get to for years and never find the time to do it. So one of the great programs I have found on the internet that is, again, completely free and help you to do that is something called Adobe Bridge. And the nice feature of Adobe Bridge is you can actually look at all the photos in your folder at the same time and just scroll up and down using the scroll bar to move these photos up and down. You can also enlarge the photos. You can highlight the photo and look at it in more depth if you wish. You can rename the photo. You can delete it. You can move it to another folder. You could batch it with other photos. You could export it. I love it. And it's, again, you see everything on one screen and you can just move from folder to folder and easily organize your photos. The other aspect about it is you could also attach information to that photo. You could put a description up there. You could use keywords. So if you want to search your hard drive for particular folders, for particular images, it enables you to do as well. You could also find the information about that photo, where it was taken if you used a GPS while you were taking the photos, what speed, what size, what type of photo it is. So it is a real handy tool. And again, it's free from Adobe. They're going to try to get you to move up to some of their more advanced projects, but you really don't ever have to. There is also a Mac version of this that's available. I don't know whether the Windows show exactly the same way as they do on the Windows version, but you can, as I said, download a Mac version. Another Adobe program that I think is fantastic for beginners is what's called Photoshop Express. And with Photoshop Express, as you see, you can select an image and start editing it from scratch. And you could either pull something from your library, what's on your devices, or you could use your camera that you have on your computer to take an image at that particular point in time. All right. Now, here's some of the beautiful things that you can do with Adobe Photoshop Express. You can do one-touch editing. You could remove blemishes.
Hmm.
You can remove red eye and pet eye. And this is all, believe it, one click. All you have to do is put your cursor in the eye and click on it, and it'll automatically convert to this. Again, there is a Mac version for you Apple addicts. Another free online extended photo editor is called Adobe Express. Gets a little bit more complicated, but it also gives you a lot more options. I've been using Adobe for years. I actually have Adobe Photoshop, but I have the Elements version. But this comes close to offering me almost anything that I would need to enhance my photos. Any questions about those? Jude, anything out there?
No,
Okay, and if anybody wants some of this demonstrated, if we have time at the end, we'll be more than happy to show you how to use this or how we use it. All right. Paint is a Windows 10 program. It allows you to, this is a screen background that I use on my Windows program. You can add text to it. This is an online photo editing platform called 123RF. And it gives you 3 basic applications, if you want to call them, that all you really have to do is upload your photo and it will take care of some of the work for you. One is filters, one is auto enhance, and the other is something I think is really neat, background removal. Let's say you have a picture and you want to remove yourself from that picture and give yourself a different background. Well, really, in essence, all you have to do is upload that image in a JPEG or a PNG form, and it will do it automatically for you. And then you can download that image and add it to another background if you so desire. Paint 3D, again, is a Windows 10 program. A lot of people are not aware of this, but it's got a more comprehensive extraction tool. Let me go back here. If you notice, some of the things are not quite finished. And you cannot correct for that unless you go into another program and start painting in there. With Paint 3D, you get a much more comprehensive extraction program, not difficult to learn. It takes a little time to master it, but I took the images right out of the photo. And then what I did was I combined the images to make a zoom background. I used these images and dropped Don Quixote and his buddy in there, put some text in. And I don't know about you, but I love doing stuff like this. I also do it for other people, helping them make backgrounds for Zoom or instructing them how to do things like that. Another way to do that is with Canva. If you're not aware of it, Canva is a free online program where you can make greeting cards, brochures, and very easily do Zoom backgrounds if you're interested in that, because they have a template that fits exactly Zoom dimensions, and it's called desktop wallpaper. And I did this Mount Rushmore background right on Canva and added some text to it. And again, it's a free online program anybody can access and use. They've got tutorials to help you work through it. And there's also YouTube, a lot of YouTube videos to show you how to use it. One of my favorite things to do on the internet, and I've been doing this for years, as Judy will attest to, is recording and editing audio or video files. And these are some of the programs that we use to do stuff like that. I don't know whether you're familiar, but you could actually dictate into your Windows 10 computer, and it will type for you as you're dictating into your microphone. And it's a real easy procedure to do this. Really, all you have to do is open up what's called Notepad or WordPad or a Word document and hold down the Windows icon key and tap the letter H and look for the microphone and the beep sound. And once that goes, all you really have to do is start talking and it's going to start writing for you. And then of course you can save this to a file. You can copy and paste it into something. I think it's just great because if I'm not a touch typer, and it works really well for me, and I encourage you to try it if you haven't. One of my all-time favorite programs is called Audacity. And with Audacity, you can capture and edit audio programs. The editing feature is quite extensive. You could also boost the sound. You can do all types of editing on Audacity. And when I do the PDF, I'll change this screwed up URL at the bottom. A program I use very extensively is a program called Flashback. And this allows you to capture video on your computer screen. And the nice thing about this is you can either pick up a certain section of that video, or you can capture the entire screen. And I have a blast with this. There is a video editor, if you're not aware of, in Windows 10. It's found in the photo section. I've used it. It's very, very easy to understand and to manipulate. For more extensive programming or more extensive video editing, this is a great free open source program called Kdenlive. Little complicated to know and to use, but there are an awful lot of YouTube videos and help videos to get you through it if you like to do things of this nature. Google Photos, if you haven't visited it recently, has added, and I think this is in the past month or so, what they're calling utilities. And you could actually go into your Google Photos and make a movie, an animation, or a collage right in Google Photos. Here are some programs that we use. Free email a greeting card to somebody you would like. It's completely free at 123 Greetings. Of course, grammar and spell checking, Grammarly. A word cloud generator. This is Jason Davies. There are a bunch of them on the internet, though. This is a very handy little program if you want to convert a YouTube video to an MP3. Judy turned me on to this one. Are you still using this, Jude?
Yes,
All right.
it's a great,
Pardon? I'm sorry.
it's a good program because there aren't too many out there that you can do with YouTube.
This is a color picker. If you have a photo that you want to pick up one of these colors in that photo for usage somewhere else, all you really have to do is upload the photo, and it's going to give you what's called a hex code or an RGB code. And you could use that in a paint program to duplicate that same color. So I use this all the time. Media player, if you are a Windows person, okay, all the videos and audio files that you download or you have on your computer don't necessarily play on the media player that comes packed with Windows 10 or Windows 11. So this is an open source media player called VLC that plays almost every format in a video or an audio file for you. Free fax. Anybody ever have to fax something? All right. Well, I think, what do you get? 4 or 5 faxes a day on this, if you wish?
I believe it's 4.
Okay. So if you have to fax something out to somebody, you do have to scan it to get it on your computer, but you could also use your phone to scan a document and then transfer it to your computer and then use free fax to send it out. Okay. These are free custom guides. They're reference guides to business apps, to Microsoft, to Google, to Mac computers, e-learning and other applications, Windows shortcuts, a whole myriad of things. And these are completely free for you to download and use as cheat sheets. PDF Creator. This is the one you use, is it not, Jude?
Yes, that is it.
And how's it working for you?
I've had it for a number of years and no problems at all. It is great.
Here's one that Judy turned me on to. It is, if you ever have to convert a PDF file to a Word document, then you use this site, PDF to Word Converter, and it works magic. Here's another one that I have used. They limit it to 1 PDF conversion a day for you, however. So you have to be careful if you have a number of files to convert.
Well, if you have more than one, then you can use the other one.
Yeah, well, I'm just,
So you can,
right.
right.
Do they have a limit on the other one?
I'm not sure, but I think it's more than one.
Okay. Right. This was very, very handy to us recently. If you think that your email was involved with a data breach, this site is called Pawned. I have been pawned, and you can actually see if your email was involved in any one of those breaches that they have monitored here. Judy loves this site. Tell us about Snopes, Judy.
Snopes is, I thought in the beginning it said Snoop, because that's what it really is. If there's something that you are not sure if it's fact or not, you put the site there or put what it's about, and they will tell you that, oh yes, this is true, or no, this is legend. So it's good to check out what you think is happening, especially if you read on Facebook that something is going on, not necessarily true.
So do they actually call it urban legends if
Yes, they do.
they call it
Urban
urban
legend.
legend? Okay.
Urban legend.
Urban legend, absolutely. All right. I used this site actually recently. It will give you a rating as to whether, before you go on a site, as to whether they're scamming you. In other words, whether it's a valid site or not. And I actually checked out a site before I went to it. It only had a 68 rating on it, and I decided that I wasn't going to go visit that site. So that's another handy dandy tool on the internet. We're gonna, because we've got the time, there haven't been a lot of questions. We've got some resources for you. And again, we're gonna be sending out a PDF as soon as I get it fixed up. We invite you to visit our website page for other programs and offerings. And this will be part of the PDF that gets sent out to you. And we do offer 15-minute free sessions to answer any of your questions. And we have a calendar link, again, that'll be part of the PDF. All right. Now, before I continue, any other questions?
Michael, there haven't been any questions in the chat.
Okay, anybody with their hands up and any hand raises?
No hands.
I don't see anyone.
Okay,
I
does
think
anybody
we
have
all
any
need
questions?
to
Just
read
open your
your-
mic and ask them. Go ahead.
I think
I
think
wanted
we
to
all
ask-
need to read your PDF.
I'm sorry?
I think we all need to read your PDF and think about it a little bit. It's a
Well,
lot of
You know
information.
what? You know what the situation is when we're in this kind of a format, we've got a shotgun because we're not in our wacky type of format where we're just opening for anybody's general questions. So that's why we're doing this, to introduce you to some of these things and also say, if you have any problems with them or you have any questions, just sign up for a 15-minute, tutorial with us and we'll help you through it. And Peggy, you know that you've been part of our group and on several formats that we love doing that. And we love demonstrating these kind of programs and sharing them with people because we find there's a lot of value. And what the benefit is or the reason that we're doing it is we just want to let you know and share these types of resources with you and help you if you need the help to get on the internet and to learn how to use it to your advantage. I call it for fun, for research, for education, for entertainment, for news. I mean, there's just so much that's available out there. And Judy and I have been on the internet and working with PCs for over 30 years. And we like to share this information.
Basim,
I
you
had a
still have a
question.
question?
Yeah, I have a question. I know you said a lot of some of the resources. I was very excited about seeing the, editing the photos and videos and, some of the sites you showed. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I know some of the things that you mentioned were also just on the Windows. So it's not on a Mac. Some of the.
Well, you know what some of the programs have that I was talking about as far as Windows 10, the Paint program and the video editing program and the Paint 3D, I'm sure they have their counterpart on Macs. But since we're not Mac users, I can't be sure of that. But everything else that I talked about is either got a Mac version that you can download or is something that you use right online. So it doesn't really matter whether you're a Mac user or whether you're a Windows user. Is there something in
So
particular that
very
you're
enlightening.
Pardon?
Very enlightening, very, very, I'm like, oh my gosh, you had so much to share. And no wonder now I'm thinking like Judy and, I didn't know who was going to be presenting. So now I know Judy, the smart lady with the smart husband, computer savvy husband.
A smart husband.
It's just that we're so used to this. And again, we like sharing this and just making it available, and it became, let me stop sharing screen for a second. I can go back to this.
Michael, we do have a couple questions.
Okay, we're ready.
All right. So Sandra is asking, how do you add a Zoom background like either Michael or Pamela are using?
All right. Number one, if you look at your Zoom, are you on a laptop? Or are you on a pad? Are you on a phone? What type of device are you on?
I'm on a PC.
You're on a PC. How old is it, Sandra? Is it a newer PC or an older PC?
It's new with Windows 11.
Oh, you should have no problem with that. On the bottom of your screen, do you see where it says stop video on the bottom left when you hover your mouse over it?
Yes,
Do you see the up arrow next to it?
yes.
Click on that.
Choose virtual background.
Use virtual background. Now your processor should be fast enough that you do not need a green screen to do this. And you should have a processor fast enough, especially if you're doing Windows 11, that will even allow you to run a video in the background.
Can you try that now?
Absolutely.
So you should be able to, there's several to choose from.
It says your device requires a green screen to support image virtual backgrounds. And then options are
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you did not get nothing against Windows 11, but and you know what? I've got the same problem. I do not have a processor big enough, so I'm going to show you what I've got. Guess what I got?
Green sheet.
Just a green screen.
A green sheet. Okay. And I've got a bunch of backgrounds that I have made or captured or taken or used, and I'm going to get into this. This is the next part of the presentation. Okay, and I've just captured a whole bunch of images and made backgrounds out of them. And Judy and I actually experimented with many different colors. And what's happening is you really don't, and green screen is kind of a misnomer, because in actuality, what started out was it was a blue screen, which a lot of people don't realize. And then they changed it to a green screen. And we looked at all kinds of colors. We tried blue jeans, we tried brown, we tried orange. And then just because of the amount of space behind me, we used a sheet, and that sheet is just held up by clamps and thumbtacks. And it is adequate enough to project a background off of Zoom. The only thing you have to look out for is you can't use the same color as your background. If you see, I've got this chair, this high back chair that I'm on, or my shirt, or the top of my head. I couldn't use a flesh colored or a white colored background to project, because then you would be seeing me move in and out of the background. And again, one of the easiest ways to make these backgrounds, number one, there's a lot that are available free, and I've got a slide about that. Or you could use Canva. Real easy to do that. In fact, we have a PDF. If you're interested, let us know on how to use Canva to make Zoom backgrounds. And we actually do a 1-hour presentation on how to use Canva to make Zoom backgrounds. Did that answer your question?
My computer is not equipped for a background, but I check, there's a box that you can check it says I have a green screen. So that's what I did. And you see that it's really bad, but if this were a green screen, you would see a much nicer background. But it doesn't work with the processor that I have.
Right. And we tried to do a green screen down there and we couldn't do it, but that's okay. So Sandra, did that answer your question?
Yeah, the light is behind me. If I put my video on, you don't get any. Let's start. There we go. Let's see if it goes.
The other thing that I have found, just for your information, is if you have a blank wall behind you, it'll work as well. I had somebody who was a client of mine talking about backgrounds, and he had a beige background and he had a just a picture on the wall behind him. And all he did was take the picture down, and that solid background acted as a quote unquote green screen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Was there anything else, Deanna? Any other questions?
There is a question from, let's see if that was the next one, from Pamela. Oftentimes I cannot, I think it's play a video, I get an error. These are from trusted sites. How do I stop this?
And maybe your player, Pamela, it depends on your player. And if you're having a problem playing some of those, is that something you downloaded or is that something that's on a site somewhere? You're muted, Pamela.
It came with the computer.
What type, Mac or Windows?
Windows.
I'm telling you, download this VLC player and it will work, because I had the same problem with the player that was packed with my Windows computer. And when it was upgraded to Windows 10, I had to go to VLC in order to play some of the videos.
DLC.
Or media
The one that
player?
I talked about in the presentation, you're going to get a copy of that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Any other questions?
Let me just check. That is it for the chats.
All right, I'm going to go through some things I think are going to blow you away. If you like playing with images, if you like playing with videos, if you like doing a lot of the things that I like doing on the internet, these are some great resources for you. Okay, and again, it'll be part of the PDF that goes out for you. These are sources for photos, videos, and music clips that are all free. Now, again, going back to one of the earlier slides, if you're going to use them for commercial purposes, be aware you better check the licensing agreement. If you're going to use them for personal personal situations, I don't think you have to be concerned. All right. This is a free stock image site called OpenVerse. Another free stock image site called Unsplash. Another free stock image site called Public Domain Pictures. Another free stock image, PX Here. Free stock images, Negative Space. Another called Morgfill. Pexels. I love this site. I use this almost, I go to it the first time because 9 times out of 10, it's got an image that I want. And the search engine on the Pexels is a lot better than the search engine is on other sites. Here's a site for stock images, videos, and music, as well as effects called Pixabay. Again, stock images, videos, music, and effects. called Envato. These are photos from Envato. Here's a free clip art library. Free sound recordings. And this is a source of free Zoom backgrounds that you could actually search by category for a free Zoom background if you have no interest in developing it yourself. So again, all of this is going to be part of that PDF that you're going to get. Sit and, absorb it, check it out, ask us questions in the future. I mean, that's what we love doing, just sharing this information because it's all available to you. But again, it depends on what your interests are. So Deanne, that's all I have unless there's any other questions.
I don't see any other questions. Do you do any other questions?
Does anybody want anything demonstrated? We have a few minutes. Okay, so next time we're here, you're all going to be experts on all of this, and we're going to be asking the questions, okay? Or we're going to ask you to start submitting things to us after you've checked out all these programs.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. And Judy, you guys are an amazing couple, and you play off each other so very well. We're so lucky that you did this for us today.
Thank you.
There'll be an email sent to each of the participants today that will have the PDF on it from Michael and Judy with all of their valuable information.
Deanna, I'm going to have to amend a couple of those slides. I saw a couple.
We'll wait to send it.
Okay, it may not be today, maybe tomorrow. Okay, just to let
Not a problem. Not a problem.
And
We will be back again.
I have to figure out why that first one crashed. And, if I have to, thank God I had that backup, so.
So then we'll get that PDF out. And when we send that, we're also going to send the survey directly in your email for everybody to give us some feedback about today's presentation and to give us any ideas for the future. I also want to let you know, if you love this dynamic duo we had today, they will be back with us on September 14th. And they are going to be covering free smartphone applications and other internet resources, both for Android and iPhone. And so you can look forward to that valuable information session coming up. I personally thank you for having the time spent with us today, learning this valuable information. If anybody has any questions or needs any assistance, ElderWorks is always here. With that, I just say thank you again to Michael and Judy, and we look forward to seeing you all at our next session.
Thank you for having us. Have a
And
good day, everyone.
Don't forget to
Thank you.
save the chat if you want to. Just go down to the chat and click on the 3 dots at the bottom right, and it'll save to a folder on your computer. Thank you, and enjoy. It's been our pleasure.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.